What's up, Internet? It's me here again, Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Quackamus. Yeah, that works. Today we're doing a review of the Generations Titans Return Blitzwing. A Blitzwing. Blitzwing has always been my favorite of the triple changers. He's pretty freaking rad. I dig him. Just because when I was a kid, I had one and it was like, oh my gosh, he's a tank and he's an airplane and he's a robot and he does everything. And I think that was my original appeal of Triple Changer, and it came from that guy. But in his tank mode, he's a really good looking tank, and this is, I think, the most compact, efficient way to have it, especially if you're like transporting around or whatnot. And just it looks really good. I think it looks just great, better than the Generations one that came out a few years back, I think, because that one had like super gappy tank mode and like incredibly phenomenally gappy airplane mode and just completely wonky robot mode. And I had one, but then I sold it because I knew that this guy was coming out and he's better. He's better in every way. But in his tank mode, he looks pretty good. Of course, he's got, folded up wings here on the side, but, what can you do? Paints, he's got some nice gray on his treads here. I'm not sure if I'm focused properly. The color matching here, because this is molded in, like, this beige plastic, and this is purple plastic, but it's painted beige. And I think the color matching is pretty good on that. In the back half, he's mostly jet on the back, but if you look at him from the front, he pulls off the beige tank really well. Turret rotates all the way around, as turrets should. You got your little Titan Master guy here hanging out with this like cockpit protecting him from people taking pot shots at him from the front, at least. I imagine he's got some sort of like holographic display in there. Like, dude, I can see everything. But looks really good. And then while I've got him out here, I'm going to compare him with the Megatron version, which I also have because Megatron. This is actually a really good figure as well. Of course, the Megatron and the Blitzwing versions, they come with different guns. They have this gun is the same, but whereas Megatron comes with a big fusion cannon gun, this guy comes with a sword instead. And the sword, I just like to put it on the side because I think that's a better way to put it out of the way. I mean, you can stick it back here, and it still even kind of like sticks out. I don't think that looks as good of a storage, because I think that storage should be tucked away pretty well. But in this mode, aside from this weapon, like the only difference is the barrel. This is of course an attachable weapon. This is the actual barrel of the figure, and that's really it for them. Real quick, let me show you before I switch over to jet mode, let me show you the figures real quick. They are, once again, the exact same mold. Let me focus. Move my lights over. They are the exact same mold. They've got the same, like, Blitzwing-ish looking detail on the front. Same legs, same everything. On the back, of course, they have different heads because they turn into different robots, but they're like all the same all the way around. So to get this guy transformed up into jet mode, take off his weapons, kind of flip his wings out. He has these really shiny, like super shiny, basically straight up chrome stickers on his wings. My only issue with these is that they don't really like to stay on super well. Like you can see, like this one's kind of peeling up here, and they're ever so slightly misapplied. Like this one is just drifted off to the left just a bit, and this one's like a little bit tiny up, and I don't know. You got some person in a sweatshop in Vietnam putting it together, so I mean, what can you really expect? But anyhow, you get these suckers unpegged. It's the fist holes here that are holding on to this. Pull that out. When you have the treads up, or the turret up, you can take this and flip that around. Oh, whoops. I'm doing it wrong. You gotta untab this. And this will flip around like this. And then it clips into here, and about the same time you gotta take this clip and stick it into there. And that tab will fit into that slot. And do the same on the other side. Bam! And then this will slide about. Open this guy up right here. Pull the nose out. And that's most of the way there, so you just take it and start putting it back together. There's a slot here, tab here. Stick that together. On the back side you've got tab here, hole there. Put that together. Do the same for this side. Of course you do the same side for this side. Like, nobody ever has asymmetrical transformations. I don't know, there's probably some figure out there that has an asymmetrical transformation. I can't think of one off the top of my head though. Once that's all put together, now you've got it like so. This is your mood of the jet. While this is open, you can take your guy and put his arms up because he's, you know, doing the control thing. Stick him inside here. And his foot tab fits into, well, it doesn't really fit into anything. It just kind of sits in here, and the cockpit closes over it nice and tight, which keeps him from dicking around in there. And so, yeah, there's his jet mode here. In this mode, you can take his sword and, I don't know, stick it on the side if you want. You can take this guy here and stick that on the other side if you want. Though he actually has, I don't recall him saying this in the instructions, but when I was playing with my Megatron, I noticed that he had this little thing here and these little tabs here, and you can like take this and fit this in here, and it all fits in properly. Oh, if I can do it right. Of course, everything works great until you turn the camera on, then everything's like, how do I make it work? Jet mode. So this part here is the piece that's going to become his chest in a little bit. The same stickers that were on the side of the tank, now you can see them on the wings. Just basically it's flipped upside down, and now you've got, you know, wings on it. The jet mode, I think, does really well. I think it does. I think his jet mode looks better than Octane's jet mode. I don't know if I would say that it's as streamlined as Astrotrain's jet mode. Astrotrain has a really streamlined jet mode, but I think that's his dominant mode. But this is definitely the secondary alt mode for this guy, but it still looks pretty great. I mean, he's got some like under wing like crap here, but can you really look at it and say it's any worse than the G1 toy? No. So I think it's perfectly acceptable. You've got the turret on the underside, which is accurate to the G1. He's got little wheels down here, so you can be like, yeah, he landed on his turret. And while I've got him here, let me compare it with the Megatron one. Again, they are pretty much exactly the same. Of course, you've got the bigger gun on Megatron, but of course Megatron, he's got a bigger penis than anybody else, so he's got to have a bigger gun too, right? But other than that, it's like basically the exact same thing. But like, the thing I like about it is that it looks so different, but it's exactly the same. Like this gun and that chest piece is the only differences. It's just really incredible what a little bit of color, paint will do for you. I think what I like best about this guy is that he's so purple in this mode, whereas in his tank mode he's so beige, and they like, the different modes are differentiated not only by their by their form, but also by their colors. I think that's just like brilliant engineering. So let's get him changed up into robot mode. Gonna take off his weapons. Gonna take out the old headmaster guy. Actually, he's a Titan Master. Okay, fine. God damn it. Put that in. These are just gonna fold out, and this that folds up, and that folds up, and this is his arm. Same with this side. That folds up, that's his arm. Who'd have thunk both his arms are the same? Jeez. It's incredible. It's like they only designed one arm and then they just like duplicated it for the other side. Wait a second. That's kind of how people are. It's like they only designed one arm and they're like, oh no, we're just gonna mirror it on the other side. Some cheapskate designed humans. Oh well. It works out. Now for his legs, pull up this tab here. It kind of helps to split them because you really need to pull this all the way out. But if you put this all the way out, then it like conflicts with this other leg here, which is kind of wonky. But once that's all the way out, you can take his toe out and then pull on that to put his leg out. And then this little tab here fits into that slot in the knee. And it's kind of on this like sliding pin down there, but as it rotates from this position into this position, like it automatically actuates itself. It's not even the sort of design feature that you would notice, So that's a good piece of engineering there. Then we're gonna take this, rotate that around, plug this in to that, plug that into that, plug this into that. Just get everything into their final positions. I like for the feet, he's got this pronounced heel spur here in the toe, and it's good enough for standing him about. But you can actually take this if you want to have a little bit more posability. Like this will fold to be flat with the bottom of the foot, so he can have like real extended heel spurs if you want to do something, some crazy poses or whatnot. And then the guy here folds in half, fits on top like you do, more or less. I don't know, in this copy he's pretty loose. The head doesn't really like to sit in there very well. But I found that the QC with the Titans Return heads, like some of them is like really good, and some of them is like, I broke it. It's broken. It's broken. Worst toy ever. Just kidding. It's fixed now. Best toy ever. The QC with the heads just seems to be hit and miss. Like when I got Perceptor, his head was so tight that the first time I tried to pull it off, like the Titans Master's head came straight out of the ball joint, and that hadn't happened to me with any of these figures. And where some of these, they just practically fall right out. My hot rod is so loose that you can shake it, and his head will wiggle out. So, like, there doesn't seem to be any, like, really standard QC for it. But here he is in his robot mode, and I dare say he looks super impressive And one of the things I like about the Generations figures is that, like, it has all this subtle detailing in it, like these little panels on the turret, and these little vents on the arms, and like this little doodad right here. What does that do? Nothing. I have no idea. But it looks cool, and that's all that really matters. You know, just little things. You know, all these tiny little surface details that just make it pop. He's got the one gun here, which you can put in his hand. His other sword here, which you can put in his other hand. Or vice versa. You can do it one way or the other. In terms of posability... Oh, wait. There we go. He had this little thing fits over. It was over the chest, but if you put it under it, the chest plate will actually come in. Oh, one thing while I've got his chest plate, he does have a little button down here. You can push that, and out pops. Son of a bitch. Yeah, there we go. Out pops these little things. I'm going to put them back, because I think that they look weird. But you can do that, man. No. No. Good boy. You can do that if you really feel like it. Actually, before I go into the possibility, let's do a comparison with Megatron. And here again, this like really emphasizes what I love about this is that, you know, aside from the color, there's only 2 mold differences. Well, 3, technically. You've got the gun is different, the chest plate is different, and the head is different. And that's it. That's the only thing that's different between all, aside from they have different little barrel attachments here, but eh. But like even you can see on this guy, he's got like this is clearly meant to be like a Megatron surface detailing here. You know, I mean this is definitely supposed to homage Megatron's G1 torso, and he's got it here. But like this doesn't detract from how he looks as, you know, as Blitzwing. For Megatron, I do like to keep his wings all the way folded up, whereas for Blitzwing, I like to keep him out because that's how it was. But like, yeah, there's almost no difference between these 2 figures, and yet the differences that are there just make the figure like I don't even feel that this is really redundancy. Like this is totally Megatron and this is totally Blitzwing, and it's impressive that they're like that. Anyhow, so for posability, you've got the Titan Master standard ball joint posability here, which of course is really basically just a swivel. Almost no posability in terms of that ball joint run around. His arm will go out and up like that much, and it will rotate most all the way around. Not all the way around, but most all the way around. He's got a swivel here, which is unhindered. He's got. I kind of wish that he had a little bit more posability in that elbow, the arm knee, but yeah, he does have a little joint here, and it's really mostly for transformation. But you know, I don't know, if you can find a good way to deal with it, then deal with it, man. Make it pose it that way. Hips are go backwards all the way, go forwards all the way. You can do the high kick, so you can do the like conga line, do the na 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 na. His thigh swivel is super tight, and I think the big reason for that is this is a purple piece. This is actually molded in purple, and they just take this and like dunk it in paint to make it the same color as the upper hip, and so that of course changes the tolerances. And so whereas it's like smooth and firm on this figure, it's like freakishly tight on this figure. Not like freakishly, you don't feel like you're gonna break it, but it's pretty good. I don't know. Knee posability is about, come on, that much before you start bending it more and it comes untabbed. Of course you can bend it that far if you really want to, but then when you unbend it, you gotta like re-tab it back into place. You might like that, you might hate that. Go ahead and say in the comments which one it is, if you're a lover or a hater. Toe posability, you really have no posability here. Like this is a transformation thing, and so like if you're like trying to like step them or I don't know, moving the toe down doesn't really do much for it. But like I mentioned before, like this thing moves around, and if you're like moving them out like that, you can take this and you can put it down to just give them a little bit more stability for when you pose them up. I guess the toe joint helps out with that as well. But you can see here, if you hold him, like you can see that he's not squared off with his leg. He's actually got a little bit of an angle to it for when he's doing the old A stance, you know, just the relaxed shoulder width. And I really like this because 10 years ago they didn't do that really. You didn't really ever see that. The figures, you know, they had them like this, and then they had the ratchets like this, and you're like, okay, I can either stand them like this, or I can stand them like this, but there's nowhere in between. So I'm happy that they're getting better at designing toys, and they're constantly increasing their skills and expertise. But yeah, there's the Titans Return Generations Blitzwing. I think he's pretty awesome overall. If you find him in your store and want to pick him up, like, dude, seriously, go for it. I definitely recommend this figure. But anyhow, this is Acamus Prime signing off, and everybody be good to each other.